the African empire that controlled the world's gold trade. Long before Europe minted its first gold coins in large numbers, before global banking systems existed, and before the modern idea of international trade, a powerful African empire quietly controlled most of the gold that the known world depended on. Gold that traveled across deserts, into royal treasuries, and shaped entire economies did not begin its journey in Europe or the Middle East. It began deep in West Africa, under the authority of an empire whose wealth became legendary. This story unfolds in West Africa, between roughly the 13th and 14th centuries, in a vast region that today includes parts of Mali, Senegal, Guinea, and Mauritania. At its height, this empire was not only wealthy, but highly organized, politically stable, and deeply connected to global trade routes. Its influence stretched far beyond its borders, linking Africa to North Africa, the Middle East, and even Europe. This was the Mali Empire. Before Mali rose to power, gold already existed in West Africa, but it was scattered across small kingdoms and loosely controlled territories. Gold dust was mined from riverbeds and shallow mines, yet it moved unpredictably through trade networks. Merchants traveled long and dangerous routes across the Sahara Desert, facing heat, thirst, and bandits. Without a strong central authority, trade was risky, taxation was inconsistent, and political instability limited large-scale economic growth. The region had wealth, but it lacked coordination and protection. Everything began to change when Mali unified these lands under strong leadership. The empire expanded by bringing gold-producing regions, key trade towns, and desert routes under central control. Rather than exporting raw power through constant warfare, Mali built its strength through administration, law, and trade. Gold mines were protected by the state, trade routes were secured, and merchants were encouraged rather than exploited. This created stability, and stability attracted traders from far beyond West Africa. The true turning point came under the reign of Mansa Musa, one of Mali's most famous rulers. When he ascended the throne in the early 14th century, Mali was already powerful, but under his leadership it became globally known. Mansa Musa understood that wealth alone was not enough. It had to be displayed, managed, and connected to the wider world. His most famous moment came during his pilgrimage to Mecca, when he traveled with an enormous caravan carrying so much gold that it reportedly affected gold prices in cities along his route. This journey was not just a display of riches, it was a statement. It announced Mali's position as a central player in the global economy of its time. After this event, maps from Europe and North Africa began to include Mali, often depicting its ruler holding a gold nugget. Scholars, merchants, and diplomats became increasingly interested in West Africa. Mali was no longer distant or unknown. It was essential. The impact of Mali's control over gold was enormous. Gold from Mali helped fuel economies across North Africa and Europe. It supported the growth of cities, funded armies, and underpinned currencies. Within Mali itself, wealth was invested in learning, architecture, and governance. Cities like Timbuktu became centers of scholarship, attracting thinkers, books, and students from across the Islamic world. Education and trade grew side by side, reinforcing Mali's strength. One lesser-known but important detail is that Mali did not allow gold nuggets to be traded freely. Large nuggets belonged to the emperor, while common people used gold dust. This policy helped prevent inflation and allowed the state to maintain control over the supply of gold. It shows that Mali's wealth was not accidental. It was carefully managed through economic policy, long before modern economics existed. Today, the legacy of the Mali Empire still matters. Modern West Africa remains rich in natural resources, and global gold markets still depend heavily on African production. More importantly, Mali's story challenges outdated ideas that portray Africa as disconnected from global history. Long before colonialism, African empires were shaping international trade, economic systems, and intellectual life. The Mali Empire reminds us that the global economy did not begin in one place or belong to one civilization. It was built through connections, decisions, and systems that spanned continents. Understanding this past helps us see the modern world more clearly and perhaps more honestly. If you enjoy uncovering the stories behind the forces that shaped our world, there are many more waiting to be told. History still has much to unfold.